Mom loved me best. Did you ever hear that? Kids love to do. Mom loves me better than mom loves you. A couple of years ago, I got a card from my sister. She's 5 years younger than I am. And I was the first male grandson. So that made me the beloved in the family. But anyway, she sent me a card, and the card said on the front of it, "You're wonderful. You're magnificent. You're intelligent. You're gifted." A whole list of just positive statements. And I said yes to all of them as I read down the list. And then I opened the card up and it said, "And if you don't believe these, just ask Mom." Sometimes we live with wondering, who does Mom love the best? Does Mom love me better than you? There have been those moments in the past with my two daughters when at Christmas time you had to make sure that there were the same number of gifts for each one. If 5 went to one, the other one also had to get 5 gifts. And then the older one got a little brighter than her sister, who was still 5 years younger than she was, and began looking how much they cost. You spent more money on her than you did on me. It's just that kids in the neighborhood, or when you're playing, my dad's bigger than your dad. My brother can beat up your brother. My mom's a better doctor than your mom because she saved more people than your mom did. And we do the same thing in school. Kids are the same in school. Who does the teacher? Well, Mary's a teacher's pet. Or the teacher obviously likes him better than me because he got all A's and I only got B's. So it had to be a favoritism sort of thing that was going on. And it happens, and it continues, doesn't it, into adult life, at work. We're always kind of wondering, who does the boss, who does the company think is worth more money? And if we've been on the line working, or we've been out in the shop working, or your microphone falls off, we get out in the shop and we look at our check as it comes to us or gets deposited, and we think about the CEO and the amount of money that they're making, and it's like, they haven't done anything to produce anything that's going to get sold or is of any value. Why are they more important than me? It's just sort of human nature. We make value judgments. We look around us at other people. We make judgments about the other kids in our classroom. We make judgments about other kids in the youth program at the church. We make judgments about ourselves within the worshiping community. We heard it with benevolence, didn't we? We even sort of measure ourselves against other Christian communities out there. There was a time that the Lutheran social agencies were the largest social outreach group in the world. They were number 2 in the world, only next to Jewish World Services. We were larger than the Roman Catholic services that were offered and issued, including their schools and the rest of the work that they do. So we could be very proud of ourselves, right? We say, hey, we're pretty spectacular, marvelous Christian community. Well, I shared that, and I said to be seated because that's kind of the heart and core of the gospel this morning, isn't it? If you've already looked at it, or you probably already know this story, James and John, who were brothers, right? They're brothers. So we know one of them's older than the other one. One of them's probably been talking about the fact that he's a better fisherman He's caught more fish. Dad likes him better. Dad gave him the better boat. Dad gave him better nets. And I'm always second. And so in this relationship that they have with Jesus, what do? They carry on exactly what has happened most of the life between these two brothers. We can understand totally what's behind this. And so they come to Jesus and they say to him, "Teacher, we want you to do for us whatever we ask." Full of themselves, aren't they? God, I want you to do for me. God, I deserve. God, I want. God, I need. God, please do, because I'm definitely better than a whole lot of people out there. And if you want to know God, I can name some of those people who I'm better than. I can make a list of them if you'd like, and just show you how really you need to listen to me and do what I would want. I love this next statement. You have to hear Jesus. Sometimes Jesus is very sarcastic. He's not just this wonderful milquetoasty type person. He gets really in their face. "Well, okay," Jesus said to them, "what is it you want me to do for you?" What is it that you want me to do for you? What if you had that shot? What if you had that opportunity? What if, you woke up at 3 a.m. this morning because you couldn't sleep, or the dogs were up moving around, or the birds were out already singing, and you woke up at 3 a.m. and you wandered out, and sitting there in the living room or in the family room was Jesus. And he said, what would you like me to do for you today? What would you ask for? What do you want? What do you need? What if you heard God's booming voice, if God has a booming voice or a still small voice, depending on which scripture passage you read, and said, "What do you want me to do for you? What do you want me to do for you?" What would you come up with? What would you ask for? I love the answer that James and John give. He said, "What do they want?" He says, "We want to sit, one at your right hand and one at your left." Why do they want that? They're positions of what? What's the right and left hand? Well, they're positions of power and authority. One controls the financial management of the kingdom. The other controls the military might of the kingdom. We want to be in power and control and the center of attention. And in order to get to you, everybody has to come to us first. That's quite a request. It's more than just, can I be elected president of the United States? We change those out on a regular basis. What does Jesus say? You do not know what you're asking. They certainly don't. Who ended up on his right and his left hand when he was on the cross? Was it James or his brother? Who ended up? Thieves, murderers, 2 men being crucified for who they were. You sure you want to be on Jesus' right and left? You sure that's the place you want to be? Of course, the 2 boys didn't know that at that point. They're simply arguing. And my brother's bigger than your brother. My brother can beat up your brother. That's a new kid down the street that's told you that. And you say, "Oh no, my brother's bigger. My brother can take your brother on." Until this new kid down the street shows up with his brother, who happens to play lineman for the Ohio State Buckeyes. And is one of those guys that's 340 pounds and 6'8" and just massive human beings. And your brother is thinking, I wish you hadn't sacrificed me on your behalf. Are you able to drink the cup that I drink, to be baptized with the baptism that I am baptized with? And they said, oh yeah, we can do whatever. Somewhere along the line, you learn not to step forward when they ask for volunteers. I think I probably learned that in Boy Scouts. You don't, when the scoutmaster says, I need a volunteer to help, and you don't want to be the first one to step out. Now, early on in that whole process, when you're just new in the scout program, and the scoutmaster says, I need somebody to volunteer, what did everybody else do if you're new? They took a step back, so you were standing right out there in front, ready to go. Well, this is not what the two boys are thinking about at all. You can be baptized with the same baptism I am baptized with. You can be, as a child of God, one with me in terms of loving and caring and doing on behalf of others and giving yourself as a sacrifice. But to sit at my right hand or at my left, that's not for me to grant, Jesus says. It is for those to whom it has been prepared. The Jewish community, our brothers and sisters, have a tradition in the community that says, well, you remember the story of the destruction of Sodom and Gomorrah? And God comes to Abraham and says, I'm going to go and wipe it out. And Abraham starts an argument with him. Says, well, how about if you find 10 good people? How about if you find 5? And God finally relents and says, if I find 10, I will not destroy the city. So ever after that, our Jewish brothers and sisters have this understanding that at any given time in the world, there are always 10 good people. And those 10 good people see to it that God will not destroy the world. The question becomes, who are the 10? Are you one of the 10? Are you one of the 10? Are you one of the 10? And you don't know. So what does that mean? You have to live your life as if you are one of the 10 good people. Because it does depend on us doing God's will and work in the world. So who has it been prepared for? Well, we don't know. When the other 10 heard this, when the other 10 kids playing out on the playground heard that the two brothers are arguing, they became angry with James and John. Jesus called them all together and said, you know that among the Gentiles, among the foreigners, those whom they recognize as their rulers lord it over them. I don't know if that's how we see our whole process of politics in this country or not, that the one who we elect has lords it over us. Jesus suggests that's the way the body politic works. It is not so among you. Whoever wishes to be great among you, whoever wishes to be great among you, whoever wishes to be the center among you must be your servant. That's hard. That's hard. Family of 5, brothers, sisters. Which one of the kids always has to do what mom says? Or which one of the kids in the family is the one that has to clean up the dishes or set the table or take the garbage out? Which one has to always walk the dog? Must be servant to the rest of the family. Whoever wishes to be first among you must be slave to the whole family, to the tribe, to the community, to the congregation. Why do you do what you do? What's the expectation of return? How much control do you win over God? By saying, but God, I did all of this for you. Therefore, you must do what the brother said. You must do what I want. Well, as soon as God says yes to that, then God is no longer God. The Son of Man came not to be served, but to serve, to give his life as a ransom for us, for you, for many. Word of God, thanks be to God.